Hello and welcome to a Smurd P video, and today we are looking at Mighty Morphin Power Rangers issue 112 by Melissa Flores, and this is the Darkest Hour part 2. So, this is an event, and obviously I'm going to look at the story. But in events we have sometimes moments that everybody's finding out certain information that ends the big villain or solves the problem or whatever, and it pulls the story back and it's not so fast-paced. However, that sort of maybe a couple of issues in, or maybe several issues in, depending on how big the event is, and it just slows the story down, brings it back to reality, brings in this new information, etc., whatever that may be, and then boom, we're back into the event, which is fast-paced and moving, and we love it. Now, this event is meant to be 12 issues long. That's a big event, and already the pace is slowed down. I've not even started talking about the story. It's slowed down, in my opinion, and my worry is that there are going to be so many slowed down moments that this is going to end up feeling like what Ryan Parrott would do with Necessarily Evil. It just didn't feel like an event, or, you know, like Shattered Grid was, or, you know. So maybe that will change. Maybe I'm just being a bit critical of this first issue. And generally, I love Melissa's work anyway. So, written by Melissa, illustrations by Hendry, Prasetya. I think I said that incorrectly. I apologize. I've not seen Hendry's work before, so this will be interesting. Colors by Matt Herms. That is always done by Ed, and the cover is done by Turin Clark. There are lots of variants, etc. So it wakes up with Billy a little bit confused. They've gone through the Morphin grid, and Grace is there to greet him. And the Morphin grid manifests for people in different ways, and this is how it's manifested for Billy, and Grace is there. And the Morphin grid is being infected. That's what we know. Trini and Zack are on the run from, I'm just going to call them super puppies. I can't remember what they were called. And they're really fast. They're really on the edge. However, Kimberly comes flying in to rescue them with Tommy. So Grace says that we're in a dimension pocket. And she explains what that is. And Grace is also a program because she's dead, and she's only there because she's dead. She's put in a transmitter. If she dies, she comes to life in this moment, and she can act like sort of Grace can. She's an AI. She's intelligent, etc. So she also says that maybe Grace is deaf, so she's clearly getting fed information as well, because she knows that Mistress Fogg has come in there. She also says that Grace rebuilt the Master Arch, and perhaps her death was inevitable, but she can live forever, and Billy will be her legacy, which is quite interesting. Tommy and Kimberly, they're still having this little spat in the background. So Tommy makes this comment saying, it's nice to see those two still in sync. And then she says, that pointed at me. And she said, look, I know I messed up. This is all my fault, etc. You know. So they have a little thing. So they're just trying to figure things out. Zack and Trini have been on there for days. Tommy and Kimberly have only been there for hours. But whatever's happening, it is coming closer to them. So there's a lot of information that Grace didn't send with Billy. You gotta remember, Billy's a teenager at this point. What, he's 16? Maybe even 17? He is an adolescent. And sometimes as adults, we don't always share everything. We give little bits, and then we protect these people from the bigger worries in the world or the bigger problems at work, etc. You know, that's our responsibilities as adults who understand what's going on. And she didn't share everything with Billy about the master arch, etc., and the zero crystals, because the grid, it all has triggered an infection. And she had found the notes from the Morphin Naught, as it's called. It's not an astronaut, it's a Morphin Naught, which we had a look at in Power Rangers Universe, that mini-series, etc. And it's going to be worse. It's only going to get worse because it's going to spread, and it is threat to the very existence, and it is shattering. So are we going to head towards a shattered grid? So meanwhile, Aisha's trying to get through to Matt, etc., who is in a bad way. He's killed Grace, and you can still sort of feel some dark magic there, although it is not as powerful, etc. Zack wants to know why his boy's been holed up, and he's like, well, I'm a monster. They obviously don't know what's going on. And then he says, you killed Grace. And he says, that can't be true. But it looks bad, etc. Tommy talks to Matt about everything. He talks about Draken. Draken's not under spell. He goes and does bad things. But you were under a spell. You can come back. He asks him if you remember killing her. He doesn't. That means that the magic was so powerful, he didn't have a clue what he was doing. That means that he can be redeemed, etc. Meanwhile, these creatures have come through the shattered dimension, whatever you want to call that, etc. Right. Now, Billy starts questioning himself, as he sometimes did back then. And we all do that in life. We all question ourselves at some point. Am I the right person for this job? Am I the right person for that task? Am I capable of? We all do it, and then it's usually our managers or the people that love us. They can see that potential, and they just want to draw it out of you because they know you can achieve that. And that's what Grace does here, because he starts questioning, I'm not the White Ranger. I'm not the Red Ranger. I'm not the one in charge. But no, he is the one who solves problems. He's the one who comes up with solutions, etc. While Tommy's being the big hero fighting, Billy's in the background producing something. You know, you can talk about Cosmic Fury. When the Rangers didn't have Morphers, he helped create Morphers so they could become Cosmic Fury Rangers. There we go. He helped repair the spaceship so that they could fly back to Earth. You know, coming up with solutions. That's what Billy does. So, and she says you should know better. Power Ranger is chosen not for what they could be, but for who they already are. And a morpher only enhances what is already in their heart. It's already in his heart, and we already get this moment here where pretty much Matt is saying, it's in my heart to fight with you guys, etc. And look at him getting up like that. That was a really nice scene. I'm ready. So, Grace is about to, she's not going to last forever. She's going to disappear soon, and it's time for Billy to go home. But he's got to try and unravel, because that's not the only thing that they found. The Rangers morph, they are ready, and they are fighting, etc. And then a ship arrives. We're not sure what that ship contains. Maybe the Hyperforce Rangers, that's what I was thinking. That's what I'm expecting, perhaps. But Tommy jumps in and sort of sacrifices himself so they could get away. And then the ship arrives, and we don't know Tommy's fate at this point. I've only just noticed that, by the way. And then Billy is back in Grace's lab, and she leaves this note. The Master Arch isn't the only thing I found. Good luck, Grace. So she left this note knowing that she could die. And from what I remember, at least is it the Morphin eggs? Do you remember that episode, Big Sister, and she was after Morphin eggs? I I feel like I'm quite confident in what I'm saying now. I could be completely wrong. It's been a long time. It's actually, I say that I watched Mighty Morphin Power Rangers at the beginning of the year, but sometimes when you watch these now, I'm not always paying attention to every little detail because I've watched it like a gazillion times. So yeah, this is going to be interesting, perhaps. But you see what I mean about it was a slow, sort of, not a big event. You know, there's no Mistress Fowl in this. There's no Dark Spectre in Zordon's body in this. We don't know what's happening on Earth. We sort of don't even know how they've been shoved there. We know that Draken's also on Earth with the Hyperforce Rangers. So, yeah, so it's going to be interesting. And then we got a little advert for Met Cadets, whatever that means. And sorry about the stain. If you saw that, I was trying not to show you that because I'm totally embarrassed by my coffee stain on my thing. Yeah, it was a good issue, but I felt like it was very early in this. But maybe that's the only way that Melissa thought that she could actually tell this. It does happen from time to time. Anyway, hope you like my video. If you do, please support my channel by subscribing. I really appreciate that. Make sure you look after yourself. Very important these days. Thank you for watching. Thank you to those that subscribed. And as always, embrace geekiness. Take care. Goodbye, folks.